welcome back, everyone. I am back. It's Anastasia. Hello.
Oh, I'm here too.
Surprise! This is not another solo Anastasia endeavor. Nick is back, which is great, and we are going to do a quick recap of the Olympics, Washington, D.C., and what's coming up, Canada and Cincinnati. Nick, how have you been? How are you doing?
I have Olympic fever, and I think it's going to have to burn out in about a week.
Yeah, it's been... I'm going to need a little bit of a tennis break after this because I didn't expect to watch this much tennis, but I watched a lot of tennis between...
You don't understand. The tennis is coming to your time zone now. You realize this, right?
I understand. I do understand this. And it's almost a good and bad thing because it's sort of like you go to work and you come back and the tennis is pretty much just starting, or at least the night sessions are, and you're like, watching all the tennis again.
Which is going to be the same for me as well, except that I have to skip night sessions because otherwise I don't sleep.
Yes. Which is not good. Not good, people. But anyway, no, do not recommend at all. Wow, the Olympics. I think I expected it to be great, but I don't know about you. This was awesome. This was really, and I don't know if this is sort of like final match high that I'm on, but I really did enjoy this Olympics tennis.
Yeah. I mean, I will be honest. I didn't find the men's event that interesting in terms of to watch. The results, yes, but like sort of who was still made the semi-finals in the end, seeing Felix and Musetti making it was fun. But in terms of the actual matches, I didn't necessarily spot any thrillers. That was mainly coming from Washington. But women's side, yeah, just results galore, like matches galore to kind of keep an eye on. And there was usually something from that side every day. And then ironically, the end of the tournament ended up, the matches were relatively straightforward right at the end, apart from one of the semi-finals. And the men's side, it ended with a bang.
A big, big bang. Yeah, no, the drama definitely was on the women's side. But let's do our little reviews. I kind of have three. I mean, you hit them all, interestingly, in terms of what interested me this tournament. It all kind of came up to the semifinals. But my three main takeaways from the Olympics are Lorenzo Musetti and FAA and Novak Djokovic and Carlos Alcaraz. And those were the final, the medal matches that we had. And it was, starting with Lorenzo Musetti, my goodness, what a turnaround I think he has had. He did not start this season great, but ever since like the French Open, pretty much, he's been playing really well. He had a great Wimbledon, and he was in the finals of UMAG and flew the next day and was playing his first match at the Olympics. I mean, there was no turnaround. I doubt if he slept much. And to then play so well to get himself to, the bronze medal match of the Olympics, I think is remarkable. He's having a really good, couple of weeks, 3 weeks. And I think, I think Musetti has done this to me before where I get really high on Musetti and I'm like, oh, it's that one-handed backhand. He's going to do it. And he has fallen short pretty much each time. But I don't know, maybe this time is different. I'm really excited to see where he goes for the rest of the season. With FAA, I think when he plays for Canada, he's just different. He's just different when he plays for Canada. When he plays indoors and when he plays for Canada, he's just a different beast.
Well, that's not good news for GB at Davis Cup when we play the Canadians.
Yes. This is true. But yeah, my hope is FAA can find a way to always feel like he's playing for Canada, even during the rest of the season, because I think he has a great game. He's a really interesting player. It would be nice to see him sort of like get back to the place like we thought he was when he was a junior, coming off of being a junior and getting into the pro league. And you're sort of like, there was so much excitement over FAA. And it's I think if you had told anyone back then that he wouldn't have won a Grand Slam by now, people would be like, really? Or even gotten close, So he did well this tournament, and it just shows that when he is locked in and when he is playing well, he can be really, really on the top of his game there.
In fairness to Felix, Carlos and Yannick were but rumours at the time when he first really showed up.
True. Which brings us to Carlos Alcaraz. My goodness. Wimbledon champion, French Open champion. And I was optimistic, or at least maybe not optimistic is the wrong word. I was hopeful he would get to a medal round at the Olympics. In my hearts of hearts, I just thought he just won the French Open, went straight into Wimbledon and won Wimbledon. That's not a lot of rest. He's been playing nonstop. I didn't really expect much. And then he was playing doubles with Rafa Nadal at the same time. And I thought, it might be asking too much of this kid to get to a medal round, but he did it. He pushed through. I remember one of his interviews, he just looked so cooked. He looked so, so tired. And he was saying that I am tired, but playing for my country is just so important. And that's what's getting me over the line. So with that, I just thought, wow, this is, he's going to go for it. He's going to go for the gold medal here. And he was so close. He met Novak Djokovic in the gold medal match, the final. And I also did not think Novak would get there. I mean, between the knee, the surgery, not moving well, I thought Lorenzo Musetti would have taken Djokovic out. But no, he fought through, he made it. And remember the Cincinnati final last year after Alcaraz had beaten Novak in Wimbledon? And the next time they meet, it's like this epic where Novak is like, I am the boss. I am the man. I am going to win. That was this match all over again. Don't you think?
Yes, with the unfortunate caveat that we didn't get a third set. That's the one problem with it. Although having said that, I still think it was an epic, and it's going to count down as one of the best 2-set matches I've ever seen in my life. I don't think anyone expected Novak to be this good apart from Novak himself, but he looked like the Novak of old in this match. And he and Carlos were so evenly matched all the way through. It was ridiculous. It was just Novak found something in the dying moments of both sets that got him over the line. And that was a crazy match. The first set was a marathon. Second set, a little bit less intense. There wasn't so many break points. Because neither of them got broken the entire match, despite many opportunities. But yeah, Novak Djokovic has now literally won everything. He has literally won everything in tennis. He has won every Grand Slam. He has won Wimbledon. He's won the Olympic Games now. He's won Davis Cup. He's won every single Masters 1000. There's nothing else anything that he hasn't won yet isn't worth winning. No, well, it probably is worth winning if you're a player coming up through, but it's not necessarily anything that anyone's going to remember Novak Djokovic winning for unless it's your local tournament. And yeah, he has completed tennis, and no one else could say that they've done that, really. Which is crazy.
He definitely, he's topped all the numbers. There, anything extra now is just bonus. And I have to say, for what he's gone through since he had the surgery after Roland Garros, after his last match at Roland Garros, I think no one can sort of question his determination or his willpower, because I think mentally he just took himself over the line, and it was a great match. And you just had the feeling throughout it that he was not going to let go at any point. I think there were players who always say the whole thing where it's like, I'm going to die on court. Well, we were going to have to like carry Novak's body off of that court if he didn't win the match. And props to him, he's kind of achieved everything he wanted. Nadal actually posted, he did like a little tribute or whatever on Instagram to him. And those were the words he used. He was like, congratulations to Novak. He got everything he wanted, and that's like a really, really strong statement.
And if anything about Novak, how much he's wanted that Olympic medal. Because it wasn't, for Novak, it's not actually about getting the complete set of titles. It was about winning for Serbia. And you could tell that when he won the title today, like how emotional he was, how quick he was to get the Serbian flag out, how passionately he sang the national anthem. And, it's a big deal for him because obviously Serbia doesn't produce that many big name sports people and get themselves out on the world stage in the same way. I mean, like they've got a few basketball players, I think. But that's about it. And like they had Monica Seles, but before it was called Serbia, or before Serbia became its own country. But I think she was from what is now Serbia. But like this is his 5th Olympic Games, and ironically, this is the Olympic Games we were least confident in him winning. Ironically, I think maybe 2008 we were looking at him as 3rd favorite with Rafa and Roger. 2012 he was going to be like it was going to be him or Roger. Ended up being Andy. 2016 we knew he was going to be up there. 2021 he was the overwhelming favorite. And then it all went wrong against Alexander Zverev. So for him to come out and win this one, at what will probably be his last real opportunity, let's be real. I have no doubt that Novak Djokovic could compete until he's in his 40s. I don't know how likely that is because no one's done that, because now that's really into uncharted territory. But I think for me, like watching that match and that moment, I was overwhelmingly pleased for him because it really mattered. Also, it was cool seeing a historical event that like no one else has done. And also gives me a teeny bit of hope for someone else I know who really, really wants an Olympic gold medal.
Oh, okay. I was just thinking, I was like, who? I know who. But yeah, a little word on Carlos Alcaraz, he was quite emotional and sad for losing the match. And, I think that's kind of what shows you how much these titles mean to him, or at least these matches. He too really, really wanted to win this for Spain. He said it multiple times, and he was very, very sad that he didn't get over the line. But I think he should be proud of this moment of getting there. I mean, again, he won Roland Garros and Wimbledon and got to the finals of the Olympics. Like that's pretty awesome at his age. He is the youngest silver medalist on the men's side since I think I saw it was 1988. So he also is breaking records. And one thing I thought too is, just looking at people like Carlos and Sinner, because I was like, no one else would push Novak this far. I think no one else except for Sinner would have pushed Novak this far. And what does that say about the rest of the field and what's going to happen if Novak steps down or is not at a tournament? It's very interesting, this next season of tennis and what's going to happen, especially on the men's side, at least.
I think on that, and I'm going to segue into a question I have asked for you in a minute, Anastasia. But with these young guys, I think it's twas ever thus in tennis. Every generation has always had these one or two guys that everyone's had to keep up with. And for the most part, people can beat them on their day, but those days don't happen very often. And this is true on men's and the women's side. If you go back to Novak when he was with Roger and Rafa, like we were like, well, what do we do with these guys? Like, what can the field do? We had Pete and Andre back in the 90s. It was all about those two, even if they weren't as consistent. So, it's there. And like, hey, look, there's João Fonseca and Jakub Menchik waiting in the wings. What are they going to do? Like, they're the next. You look for that extra special talent, and that's the people who are going to be challenging. Speaking of extra special talents, and I've named it, I cannot believe that you're not kind of going full on fangirl for Nadal Alcaraz, because that was. I was talking about sort of the singles, and then I realized in my summary that, hang on, no, I actually wasn't paying that close attention to the singles for the first half of the week because I was mainly paying attention to the men's doubles and two particular doubles teams, Dan Evans and Andy Murray and Nadal Alcaraz, because that was all everyone else was talking about. Let's be honest, that was all the first half of this Olympics tournament was about until they both went out.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think I didn't talk about them because I talked so much about them during the mini pod that I did a few days ago. But yes, they were definitely the highlight on the men's side. I was mostly watching doubles and then just paying attention to either highlights or little things of the singles matches and stuff. But no, that was a great moment. And there's this video I saw of, you know how Rafa, like, after the handshake, he like does his little like turn around, run, jump, and sprint, you know, to the baseline. There was a video where literally he and Alcaraz did the same thing. It was almost like synchronized warm up thing.
Yes.
And just, my goodness, I had never seen anything as close to a sort of handing off, like handing, you know, sort of the little like, I did it before, you are the new young maestro, you go into the world and like live up to my name, or, you know, it was just such a moment. I loved it was like a dad playing with their son, you know,
it's Mufasa Simba.
You got this now. It's Mufasa Simba.
Which I have made that comparison before.
That's exactly what it is. No, it was really great. And I said this on the last pod. In fact, I did a little sort of video, you know, like clip that I've posted. And, you know, Andy Murray and Dan Evans was great. It was really awesome that Andy Murray got that moment to that final sort of retirement moment, play some really great matches and, you know, go out in style. But I have to say, Dan Evans, I mean, I only wish I could have a doubles partner like Dan Evans. People I don't think understand how much he gave up in order to play this Olympics with Andy Murray, because he's so far down the rankings now. You know, he can definitely make a comeback for sure, but it's going to be tougher for him to get into draws.
He needs a good US Open.
He really does in order to get in there. So props to Dan Evans. He did really, really awesome. Really quick on the doubles, you know, just to mention who won the tournament. So we had Matt Ebden and John Pierce won gold medal, which was really great after Matt Ebden's like surgeon into playing singles. It didn't really go well.
Well, to be fair, he was playing the eventual gold medalist. True.
That is true. It all makes sense now. But Tommy Paul and Taylor Fritz, what a team. What a team. Really awesome that they got medals. I felt bad for the silver medalists, Rajiv Ram and Austin Krajicek. They had chances. They definitely had chances.
They were so close. They were break up in the second.
Yeah. And they didn't quite make it. So that was your doubles. And now let's jump over to the women's. What were the big stories that caught? I know the big stories, but tell us, Nick, what caught your eye?
I mean, let's be honest. There are three big stories from the women's singles, actually. They were who won it, who didn't win it, and who retired. Because we also had a retirement story in the women's singles. So yes. I kind of alluded to this person in my Novak summary. Iga Swiatek did not win an Olympic gold medal despite being the overwhelming favourite. It was perfect conditions. It was on clay in an environment that she wins in consistently. She really, really wanted it. It was really important to her that she got it. She basically based this was all she was planning for the whole season. And then she gets tight in the semis. I mean, she was looking fairly nervy throughout the whole tournament, to be honest. But nervy Iga beats pretty much anyone else. Unfortunately, she ran into a very determined Zheng Qinwen, who also tends to play very well when playing for her country. It was a bit like if Novak got tight playing Felix, or Carlos got tight playing Felix, even. And that's essentially what happened. But she got a bronze medal convincingly. And actually, the bronze medal match was her best match of the tournament by miles. And she looked genuinely pleased with it. And it certainly seems from doing the rounds of the Polish media that no one's kind of saying, oh, you let yourself down or anything like that. Like, a bronze medal is a bronze medal and it's a big deal. So, she's proud of herself. I think she's got Olympic medal because now that's kind of what her dad didn't get, because her dad could have got bronze medal in the rowing in 1988 Seoul and he just missed out. It was painful. She got that. And I think that she achieved her baseline goal of a medal. It wasn't her ultimate goal of gold, but she got it. The gold went to Zhang Qinwen, deservedly, for basically coming through two really tough matches. She was match points down against Emma Navarro in the last 16. She got into a tight tie-break in the decider with Angelique Kerber in the quarters. It went to 6-all in the decider. And then she ended up playing the heavy favourite, who she's never beaten before, in 6 meetings. And she got through and, got through and then dominated the final, and deservedly so. So congrats to Zhang Qinwen. She is the champion and shows that the Australian Open run is not a flash in the pan. So big kudos to her. And my other story, the retirement, Angelique Kerber, 3-time Grand Slam champion. Fans of this podcast, depending on what country you're from, will probably know her as the 2016 Aussie Open champion, 2016 US Open champion, 2018 Wimbledon champion. Very sort of late bloomer, as it were. Like, she kind of only figured out her game in her mid to late 20s, a bit like Jasmine Paolini has, but maybe slightly younger. Yeah. When she did, it was maybe more like a Pegula type rise, but she proved herself to be a thorn in the side of Serena Williams during her latter years, and literally announced the day before the tournament started that the Olympics would be her last event ever. And so we were all tuning into her match with Naomi Osaka going, oh, is this going to be end? Oh, no, she's standing up to Osaka. She's standing up to Cleome, and she's redirecting, and she's doing all the things we know Angie Kerber can do, and where has this been all year? Gets to the quarterfinals and was within 2 points of making it to the semi-finals and getting another Olympic medal, because she was silver medalist in Rio 2016 as well. And so she, and like saw it afterwards, like she was happy with like giving her all. And like, even though she didn't make the semis and she was disappointed by it, I think she was satisfied that she went out knowing that she gave her all and she did her best and she was playing good tennis. And in many ways, regardless of what stage you go out in a tournament, if a pro player goes out that way, they're going to be happy. Bit like with Andy.
Yeah. No, that was... I love the way she did it, because it didn't give everyone time to sort of like, when is she going to be gone? Like, what's her last tournament? And, it was her last tournament. She said it a day before it started. And then I really do think that freed her up. It was over. Her career was over. This is going to be the last professional match. Let's just see. And I think she gave it her all, because there was no other tournament to look forward to. This was going to be it. So give it your all in the last one. I liked the way she went out. That was like a really cool move on her part. What about the doubles? The doubles just finished a few hours ago.
Yeah, the last Olympic medal to get decided was the women's doubles, and that ended up being the Italian team of Jasmine Paolini and Sara Errani, who, they recently joined up. Sara has been a bit of a mentor to Jasmine, and they've been getting some double success. I think they did well in Rome. They did pretty well at Roland Garros as well. I think they got to the final there. And I think this was kind of the feel-good moment of the Olympics in many ways, the feel-good winner. I'm not saying that Djokovic or Zheng weren't, or the Aussies, but actually, no, maybe second most. That's the mixed doubles. But the Italians, they got through, and like, it's a great moment for Paolini because that gives her something to take away from the summer other than a runners-up trophy, because she has too many of those. And she has an Olympic gold, and no one's going to ever take that from her. And Sara Errani completes the career Golden Slam in doubles, of which she's only the 7th woman to do. And at 37, looking like her career might be coming to an end, that's a special moment for her. So super Super proud of them, even though it might have been quite interesting had their opponents won the gold, and they looked like they might because they went set up. Mirra Andreeva and Diana Schneider, a young pairing.
What a team.
What a team. Beat Barbara Krejcikova
Who
and Katerina
knew?
Siniakova, one of the GOAT doubles pairings in history.
Yeah.
In the quarters. And Mirra Andreeva is now the youngest tennis medalist since Jennifer Capriati in 1992. She's 17. Wow. Capriati was 16. Mirra's younger than anyone else who ever won an Olympic medal of ever any colour, regardless of the outcome of that final. But yeah, an exciting young doubles team. And I think we might see them working together again because that seemed to be working quite well. Yeah,
it was their first partnership, first time they ever tried to play together, and then they got to the finals. That's really, really great team. You mentioned it, and of course, we cannot end our Olympics review without mentioning the mixed doubles champion, Katerina Siniakova and Thomas Mahak. Come on. I mean, where's the rom-com? Who's going to play Tomas? Who's going to play Katerina?
It's probably going to be a Czech movie, let's be honest.
They should just make different versions of it, like just all of it. It was. So for anyone who doesn't know, I mean, come on, who doesn't know what's happening? So apparently they were dating before for 4 years, and they broke up, according to Siniakova herself, before the Olympics. But she said, we're still going to play mixed doubles together for our country.
I think she confirmed it a month before.
Right. And it was sort of like, great, they're doing it for their country. Of course, this is awesome. And then they go on to win the title. But on the way to winning the title, my goodness, what a rom-com. It was just...
There was a lot of on-court affection throughout their run. My goodness. Let's be honest.
It definitely put the sort of, are they or aren't they, question out into the universe. And I don't know who posted. I just saw a post on social media or something like that. And I'm just like, are they going to be married by the US Open? Because that's what it's looking like.
Maybe not. Because they've got some stuff to untangle there by the look of it. So.
Yep. But no, the mixed doubles definitely delivered. There were some partnerships that were quite hilarious. I will never forget Daniil Medvedev serving to Sara Errani and vice versa, because it was comical on all the levels. And yeah, that was where the fun was at. Mixed doubles at the Olympics was where fun times were had. I mean,
like the Daniil Medvedev and Mirra Andreeva partnership was hilarious because it emerged that they didn't even talk to each other, let alone play together, until like the day before their first match or something.
Oh, man. Now that's a rom-com. We could start with that.
There's a bit of an age gap there. And I think Daniil is already married, Anastasia.
Well, no, it would be a mix. It would be the mix of two stories. We would make our own original script of the rom-com of mixed doubles. But anyway, quite the event.
It is Paris.
While in Paris. Anyway, the Olympics was great. We had tons of fun watching it. It was, it was just a fun time. I really, really enjoyed this. And we have a few other tournaments coming up, but because of the Olympics, there've been a lot of withdrawal. Well, before we jump into what's coming up, what's going on right now is Paula Badosa is in a final, which
she is in a final.
I think is the story of DC.
Yeah, she is in a final. As we record, I was watching the first set while we recorded. It is now on a break because there's lightning.
Of course. Weather. The weather has been terrible.
Because, okay, so you live nearby, right? I know you live in New York, but you've been to DC this week.
Yes.
I'm looking at the pictures. Okay, they're not showing the pictures now. There wasn't barely a cloud in the sky when they ended it. Where's the lightning? What is going on? What freakish weather do you have on the East Coast of the United States?
We're in a little bit of a sort of summer thunderstorm, time frame. Like yesterday was actually pretty bad with the lightning. Like I was surprised they were able to finish their matches because there was a lot of lightning in the area and stuff. But yeah, DC, I was in DC I was there for a few days. We had a little bit of ground pass on site, which you can find on our social media, on our YouTube channel. I got to interview Mattia Bellucci, who had a very similar sort of story to Lorenzo Musetti with the whole sort of like wrapping up a match in Atlanta and then the very next day flying to DC to do his first qualifying match. So that was great talking to him. I also got to talk to Henry Patton and Harry Helio-Vera, who are the current men's doubles Wimbledon champions. It was really nice catching up with them in DC. You can find all those interviews, not only the video versions on our YouTube, but I also put the audio versions on our podcast feed. So you can find those too. But the tournament was really great. I got to see a lot of practices, some match play. I think the biggest story out of DC are that who we thought would be shoo-ins based on the field didn't really quite make it. Aryna Sabalenka, I think even through practice, me watching her through practice, she wasn't really looking like she was going to be winning the tournament, and it's her first tournament back from injury. She withdrew from Wimbledon because she had an injury. So this was her first tournament back. She never really looked like she was in it. Frances Tiafoe finally got past the quarterfinals, but then a very determined, cool, calm, and collected Sebi Korda said, no, I am doing this for my father. Which, if you didn't know, Sebi Korda's dad won the DC Open in 1992. So 22 years ago. And he's playing in the finals against Flavio Cabali, who's going for his first ATP title. Taylor Townsend won with Asia Mohammed in doubles. It's their third partnership win. They won Cincinnati last year. So they're a pretty great doubles pairing. So that was a good win for them as well.
Isn't Taylor playing with Siniakova normally?
She was, but Siniakova was doing the Olympics. So she played with Asia in DC.
Asia's her backup,
I'm guessing. Yeah.
Her safety partner. I guess. Yeah, so Washington's been interesting. I mean, like I've been catching a few matches, but I've been mainly watching the Olympics. But yeah, I think you covered that off pretty well. So yeah, did you want to move on to Canada then? Because
yes,
we are in. As you alluded to, we've got a few withdrawals because a lot of people who've stayed late to the Olympics aren't playing. So we've only got 3 top 10 players on the WTA side. That is Coco Gauff, Aryna Sabalenka, and Jessica Pegula. The men's side is Yannick Sinner as the top seed, but the other top guys, who's the second seed? Because it's Zverev, isn't it? Because Djokovic and Alcaraz aren't there.
No, they're not. Yeah.
So I think Zverev is playing in Montreal, which is good for the sort of have some competition, but heavy favourite Yannick Sinner in the men's. The women's is a little bit more open. Depends on if Sabalenka can fix sort of her rustiness, because otherwise I think Coco Gauff's going to be feeling pretty good. But it also could be fairly open because it's a good time for some lower ranked players to get some big points at this event before we wind up into Cincinnati. But ladies and gentlemen, the US hardcourt swing is here. Well, North American hardcourt swing, because I always need to make sure I say North American, because Canada is not the same place as the US.
No, it's not.
Very different place, even though they live next door to each other. And but yeah, this is it. This is like your favorite time of year, Anastasia.
This is it. Really excited. I don't know how much of Canada I'm going to be watching. I'm a little bit tennised out. I'm not going to lie, because I did watch a lot more of the Olympics than I thought. And breaking news, I am going to be going to Cincinnati. So I might take a few days off because I'm going to be going early to Cincinnati and we'll be watching qualifying and doing all of that. So you'll have some more fun ground pass on site content coming your way. So yeah, excited to just, if any matches kind of pop up that become interesting. I know there's some first round matches on the men's side that sound
there's one on the women's. There's one on the women's that's like...
Which one's it for you?
Osaka Jabeur.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Oh yeah. I actually watched the draw yesterday, or at least listened to it as it came out. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be a really fun one. Yeah. Especially since, it's going to be, I don't know, because Ons Jabeur did pull out of DC because she got an injury before the tournament started. So it will be interesting to see where she's at as well. But I mean, I was looking at the qualifiers because I haven't even seen Jeannie Bouchard is playing qualifying. So it's interesting. I'll be paying attention from afar, and if anything sort of piques my interest, I will pop up and watch. But for now, I'm going to be saving all my energy for Cincinnati.
Makes sense. I'll keep an eye on Canada first then.
Yes. Yay.
Well, as much as I can, because I'm actually going to stay with my family this week. So fortunately, my mum is a tennis fan, so I can watch some of it with her.
Awesome. Okay, so that's it from us. This was nice, short, quick one, as short as we can get sometimes with all of the tennis.
I feel like, Anastasia, this is 2/3 the length of a normal podcast. This is not a mini pod.
Yes. We're pretty much almost there. We're almost there. But yeah, thanks for joining us. I hope everyone enjoyed the Olympics. We'll see. I mean, Paula Badosa is close to getting, when was the last time she won a title?
It might be 2022. No, it was 2022. At the very least, 2021 Indian Wells. But she was, she got to world number 2 in early 22, but I don't think she won an Australian. Did she win an Australian hardcourt event, or was that Krejcikova? Anyway, this is all going off my memory.
Anyway, yeah, but yeah, so we might get some exciting results out of DC. We'll keep you posted on our social media, so please follow us there. Follow us on our YouTube. We have some really cool interviews and content coming your way there too. And yeah, we will see you next week to discuss Canada on a full pod, which will only be like 10 minutes longer than this one was.
Sounds about right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.